putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here, talking about the courage to face 2018 and the Democrats pretending to have courage by saying all these things that are going to be good for them for 2018 and the elections coming up, when in fact they are so fearful. They're talking about all the GOP splintering and all these different things that are going on, and they're going to try to put the fear into you that, oh my gosh, Donald Trump's going to bankrupt this. You're not going to have a job. This economy is going to stink, and our foreign policy is reckless, and we're going to be in all these wars. And all that rhetoric leading up to where they are is going to be the problem. There's a guy's name is Christopher Cantrell, and he wrote a piece, and he was talking about, you know, all the things that the Democrats have hung their hats on. One in particular is that they are going to impeach Donald Trump. Now, you know, that's already, I mean, that's so last year, right? And it had no chance then. It certainly doesn't have any chance now. But it's only going to get worse for him. See, by November, the Mueller investigation will be even more compromised. And I'm going to share some things with you. And I'm not going to do it this segment, but in the next hour, that are going to show you that this Mueller investigation is become a joke in and of itself. The Podesta boys. Anybody want to tell me when's the last time you heard a story about the Podesta boys? I want you to remember this. On October 31st, John Podesta essentially said, Donald Trump's trying to tie me to the Russian investigation. No, John Podesta, you're tying yourself to the Russian investigation because you guys started this whole thing on Trump. Now, when it first came out, I told everybody, this is going to bite the Democrats in the butt. But that's what happened. The day before Podesta then said there was a conspiracy against him with Trump to tie him to the Russians, his brother resigns from the company, the Podesta Group. They effectively scuttled it. Now, why would you scuttle your company? That's where your money is made. That's where your bread is being buttered. They scuttled it. Mueller then said, you know what? I have to take the investigation into the Podesta Group. So he starts investigating the Podesta Group. This is a man who's looking for ties to Russia from Trump. He's now looking for ties from Russia to Podesta. Now, what's Podesta got to do with Trump? Nothing. Here's the irony. Manafort at the time was in cahoots with Podesta in dealing with Ukraine. That's the connection. Those two were working together. And as we all know, John Podesta is what? Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager. There's nothing to point to Trump. So there's no impeachment. There is no Russian collusion. The investigation now points back at whom? At the Clinton people. This is so crazy. So now this counter narrative of an administration interfering with the opposition party's campaign in a way makes Watergate, which I've been saying this for a long time, Watergate looks like nothing in comparison to what these people are doing. And what's going on with the economy? Talked about it before. If you think the economy's good now, wait till November. I don't remember what the numbers were. I think we came out of 2017 at 24,006 and change. The other day when I asked about the stock market, it was 24,008. It's already up a couple hundred points. There's hardly a person in America that isn't betting that the stock market's going to continue to rise. The stock market will probably get conservatively another 15% bump this year. Don't be surprised if it's 20 to 25. Put some money in there and watch what happens. So liberals, for any leftist to believe that they're going into 2018 in a position of strength, and particularly in the election cycle, they are brain dead morons. Corporate tax cut wasn't intended as a cheap way to get votes. It wasn't intended as some benefit for employees that's only temporary or whatever. It was meant to spur the economy, to inspire people to invest and put money back in, etc. It is not meant to be a temporary fix to curry favor. And that's what the left doesn't understand about Donald Trump. This isn't like something where he's like, people, this will make people feel good. They got a couple of extra bones in their pocket. He sees this as the fundamental restructuring of this economy back to the way it was. Anyway, when corporations start doing things like buying back their stock when they did in the Obama years, with the taxes and regulations and headwinds from leftists, sue and settle shenanigans, they had nothing better to do with their money than to put it back into the companies. Go back and look. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the number of corporations during the time of Obama who did stock buybacks. They said, you know what, we don't have anywhere to put this money. So let's put it back into the company. Let's not put it into R&D. Let's not put it in expansion. Let's not put it into new products. Let's not put it into whatever, marketing. And now go look at all the companies now. We've got a handful just from the tax rebate that said, here you go. And I'm just telling you, when you look at the number of people who now start investing more money in R&D, new products, marketing, etc., it'll blow your mind. And 35% corporate tax rate gone, 21% tax rate, expensing of capital expenditures is going to radically change the behavior of corporations, and it's going to put them back into that mode, what I'm going to call beast mode, where you feel like, okay, we can finally, let this engine loose, take the governor off of this engine. We can let it rip. We got the right tires. We got the right drivetrain. We got the right everything. We got it all. We got our fuel mixture just right. We're ready to drag on down, drag race, hit those kind of speeds. Anyway, establishment Republicans got the message. They're on board. Democrats are starting to, even look at this and go, wait a minute. I can't tell you. Who was it? There was somebody just recently, it was like a real departure from the norm. But it was somebody that was like, I got to give it to Trump. This has just been amazing. I don't remember who it was, so it's no sense focusing on it. But I'll tell you this. There was a high-level Democrat, a person who I would call either anti-Trump or would never have voted for Trump, who said recently, I got to hand it to this guy. He's been miraculous. But the Republican the establishment around these anti-Trumpers, they know the difference between Donald Trump and George Bush. Think about it. How many of us went into when George Bush beat Al Gore and we were like ecstatic? Yay, we got us a Republican in there. And now we know what we know about George Bush. And forget what you know about George Bush from a ideological perspective. Just look at the results of where Trump is versus Bush and ask yourself, would you even mention this guy's name in good company? It's a slap in the face to mention Trump's name with Bush in terms of comparison, because Donald Trump has outperformed this guy in droves. Why even make the comparison? And so every time we talk about this subject, you know what I remind people of? What it means to be a winner. See, it takes courage to say, I'm going to take a group of people who don't like me, who are fighting against me, and I'm going to turn them my way. And that's what Donald Trump did. And he did it by being a winner. See, when you have the courage of your convictions, people leave you alone. I could tell you story on story where a person said, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, but where a person said, I don't care what you think. This is what I believe. You're not changing my mind. And people, you can watch their body language. They back off like, wow, he's serious. Yeah, serious. I think about how these Republicans have learned this new thing that they've never. I can tell you if you've been into politics for 30 years, you've learned nothing new. You don't understand what it's like to be a winner. You go along to get along. I'm talking about even as Republicans. You go along to get along. But I smile when I relive November the 8th, 2016, the night that the Democrats thought Hillary Clinton was going to get coronated. They had no concept of losing. They'd won for 8 years, so why should things be different? And the loss provided the left with an eye-opening, brain-engaging experience because it had been 16 years since they felt anything close. And that was when Bush beat Gore. But that loss didn't compare to this one. And interestingly, they ignored all these other signs like I've talked about before. And since his election, President Trump has had the courage to reverse almost every major Obama policy. EPA decimated as the U.S. shifted its energy policies back. He rolled back the EPA, gutting Obamacare. He released an estimated $2 trillion back into the economy. Now he gets his tax cuts. What the Democrats predicted was Armageddon, the cry of woe that has become so standard now for them, nobody hears it. And now they're going to get their butts kicked.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.